Hello, it's Fat2FitMama, Lauren. You are watching the Weight Loss Diaries. Two things to talk about today. First one, I'm going to update you guys on my weight and how I did for last week. And then we'll dive right on into the topic of the week, which is discrimination because of your weight or size, which is going to be a very interesting one. I got to tell a story to tell you guys. Okay, so first things first. This week, or on Saturday, is my weigh-in day, and I weighed in. I didn't weigh in first thing in the morning because I had to be out the door so early, and it just completely slipped my mind. So when I got home from my last day of Fire Academy, I weighed in, and I was surprised and not surprised at the same time at the weight. I was 199.8. That means I'm under 200. I'm in Wonderland. Yay! This has happened once before during this journey. It happened interesting. It happened on the day that I took my physical agility test to get into Fire Academy, which was one of the most exciting days of my life because I passed that test and I found out I was under 200. Fast forward to Saturday. It was my physical test for my final for Fire Academy. How weird is that? And again, I hit 199 for the second time. So it's just kind of funny how things happen. So it's a good week. I did well. So I lost, I think, 2.3 pounds, I think is what it was, and 199.8. So finally, under 200. It's so exciting. And I did pass my final for Fire Academy, which means I'm done. I'm official. I am now a legitimate, true volunteer firefighter. So, yay! All right, so let's dive right into the topic of the week, which is discrimination because of your weight. So, like someone else had mentioned in their video, whenever I first got this, I was like, no, I haven't. I haven't experienced any kind of discrimination because of my weight. And I literally had to think about it for a little while. I was like, did this ever happen? Did I? And I thought and thought and thought, and it didn't happen until this morning, whenever I was like, okay, what am I going to say then because of, you know, this topic? I don't want to be the only one who is like, nope, never had it. And I remembered, I have had discrimination because of my weight. When I was pregnant with my first daughter in 2004 and 2005, my first pregnancy, I think it must have been around, let's see, around 4 or 5 months. Every week, you know, or every doctor's appointment, they do the weigh-in, check your weight and all that, and the numbers kept rising and rising and rising. And I think about 4 or 5 months, right after my 20-week ultrasound, I remember my doctor, when we went into the room to talk, saying, you know, you've gained more than the allotted amount for a pregnancy, a first-time pregnancy. And I said, well, I'm not necessarily doing, you know, anything out of the normal. I'm not eating everything inside. I'm not eating for two, as some people call it. I'm not doing anything out of the normal. So I don't understand how that could be happening. I'm worried about it too, but I'm not doing anything. So she goes, well, you must have gestational diabetes then. That's what it must be. And your baby's probably going to be a very large baby, over 10 pounds, and you're going to have a C-section, and so on and so on. So even before they did the true gestational diabetes test, she automatically marked in my chart and treated me as if I had gestational diabetes, which meant every single day I had to test my blood sugar using a glucose monitor 5 times a day. I had to eat what would be a diabetic diet, you know, low glycemic index. I had to see a nutritionist. I was then considered high risk in my pregnancy, and so on and so on and so on. Long story short, by the end of my pregnancy, I did indeed gain 70 pounds. 70. I was up to 295 pounds the day before I had my daughter. However, around month 7 or 8, no, like towards the end, I think I had about 6 weeks to go, I dumped that doctor. Yep. I just was like, you know, I'm done, because they did the official gestational diabetes test, which is usually around sometime in the 30th week or somewhere around there. And get this, it came back negative. I did not have gestational diabetes. My blood sugars were completely within range. After that happened, and I had gone through the misery of poking my fingers 5 times a day, going to different appointments here and there, and being treated pretty much like crap, and come to find out that wasn't even the issue, I was like, I can't believe this. And she still, even after that, was like, well, you're still high risk because you've gained so much weight and you're going to have a horrible labor. I dumped her. I was like, see ya, goodbye. I found a practitioner who was, as it's called, size friendly. Yes, there is such a thing. I was treated with respect. She acknowledged the fact that, yes, I had gained quite a bit of weight, but she told me, she said, it's actually pretty common for first-time moms to gain more than that 30 to 35 pounds because your body is just, the hormones are changing. And so she treated me respectfully. She did not discriminate me because of my weight. She said, no, you'll have a fine labor. This is not going to be an issue. She treated me like a normal person. And I mean, I was a normal person, so there's no reason why I shouldn't have been treated like that. And I had, for the most part, the birth that I wanted, for the most part. It wasn't exactly how I wanted it, but I still got to experience it in such a way that I wasn't treated as a high-risk mother. So that was my discrimination because of my weight. And what I have learned from that, though, that I want to pass along to you guys is there are, as I said, size-friendly practitioners, especially when it comes to pregnancy. This is a topic that a lot of moms are worried about when you are trying to get pregnant or are pregnant and already are a plus-size woman. You can very easily be discriminated upon because of your weight. So the website that I found this out on is called plussizepregnancy.org, I believe. And on that or just Google it. On that website, it has a listing for size-friendly practitioners, which is where I found, once I became pregnant again with my second daughter, which is where I found my midwife, who, when I was pregnant, she would allow me to, I had to do weigh-ins, but she would allow me to stand backwards on the scale so I wouldn't see that number and didn't get all stressed out and in my head about it. And I actually didn't ask her until the end how much weight I gained. I only gained like 25 pounds with my second pregnancy. I was overweight to begin with, definitely. I hadn't lost that 70 pounds from my first daughter, but she was respectful to me. She allowed me to do as I wished. I did not have to take the gestational diabetes test because my blood sugars were within range, and that stuff they make you drink is horrible. She treated me with utmost respect. I had the birth that I wanted. Like, I could not ask for anything better, and that meant the world to me. That kind of redeemed my faith in birth and in pregnancy and in doctors and practitioners when it comes to the topic of being pregnant and being overweight. So that is my little tip to you guys. Out of my horror came good things. So if you are thinking about getting pregnant or are pregnant, definitely check out plussizepregnancy.org. I think it's .org or it's .com. Just Google it and then check out size-friendly practitioners. And if you have experienced such a thing, definitely leave me a comment below. Or if you know of a size-friendly practitioner, please leave a comment below too. Let's help out our other fellow mamas or mamas-to-be out there. So that's it for this week. I hope you guys took something good out of that, and I look forward to seeing you next week. As always, be sure and check out my channel, Fat2FitMama, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.